Look at that photo. No, I mean, really look at it. That is Zion Williamson. But it's not the Zion we've been talking about for the past 4 years.
Zion Williamson, he looks fat. He looks fat.
Like me and Shaq had a baby.
For years. This isn't the guy shrouded in mystery, battling injuries and trade rumors. This isn't the guy whose potential was always followed by a giant flashing asterisk. Zion Williamson looks like a completely different human being heading into this NBA season.
Pelicans having a good couple of minutes. Look out, Zion!
Leaner, faster, and more focused than we've ever seen him.
What's the feel first day at camp? Just some of the new faces figuring things out.
A lot of spacing, a lot of speed, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And if the photos, the whispers, and the reports leaking out of Pelicans training camp are true, this might finally be the year he lives up to the impossible hype that followed him into the league. For years, the story of Zion has been one of what ifs. But today we're not talking about the past. We're looking forward. We're going to break down the science behind his radical physical transformation, what it means for his game on the court, and most importantly, answer the one question that's on every NBA fan's mind. Can a healthy Zion Williamson actually turn the New Orleans Pelicans into a legitimate threat in the West? Let's get into it. To understand why this season feels so different, you have to remember the journey. When Zion was drafted number 1 overall back in 2019,
with the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
He wasn't just the consensus top pick, he was a phenomenon. He was hailed as a generational talent, a mix of Charles Barkley's power and a point guard's explosiveness. He was supposed to be the heir apparent to LeBron James, the next face of the league. And when he's been on the floor, he's been every bit of that. The man is a walking cheat code. He's a force of nature who makes the rim look like a Nerf hoop, and elite defenders look like they're stuck in quicksand. The guy has averaged nearly 26 points per game for his career on an absurd 60% shooting. Those aren't just all-star numbers. Those are Hall of Fame trajectory numbers. But that's the catch, isn't it? When he's on the floor. That phrase has defined his entire career. Flashes of absolute dominance, consistently derailed by a laundry list of injuries. Knees, ankles, feet, hamstrings. It felt like his own superhuman frame was betraying him. His inconsistent availability hasn't just held him back. It's put a hard ceiling on the Pelicans' potential, a team built entirely around his unique gravitational pull. When he plays, they look like world beaters. When he doesn't, they're fighting for a spot in the play-in tournament. When has always been the problem, but this offseason, Zion decided to attack the problem head-on.
Front court, it's showtime for Zeke!
This isn't just your standard best shape of his life training camp cliche. This is a legitimate, top-to-bottom athletic rebuild. Let's not sugarcoat it. Just 4 off-seasons ago, reports surfaced that Zion's weight had ballooned to over 300 pounds. He even admitted himself that it was totally unacceptable. That extra mass put an unsustainable amount of force on his lower body every time he jumped, landed, or cut. It was a ticking time bomb. Now, fast forward to today. He's reportedly back near his Duke playing weight of around 280 to 285 pounds, but it's a completely different kind of weight. It's not just a physical change, it's a mental one. He's not carrying the weight of the world or the weight of expectations anymore. He's just light. He's free. So how did he do it? This wasn't about just cutting calories. This was a strategic shift in his entire approach to fitness. The old philosophy seemed to be about being a wrecking ball, raw bulk, and power. The problem is that mass creates incredible torque and impact on the joints, especially for a player as explosive as Zion. Think about it. Every time he lands, it's not just his body weight. It's that weight multiplied by the force of gravity. Physics was his biggest opponent. His new regimen is built for durability. We're hearing about a complete overhaul led by a new performance team. They've incorporated boxing into his routine, not for fighting, but for the incredible benefits to footwork, cardio, balance, and core stability. They've got him running routes on a football field, doing agility drills designed to strengthen the ligaments and tendons that support his knees and ankles, making them more resilient to the explosive cuts he makes. This is combined with a notoriously strict diet and a deep focus on mobility and flexibility, work like yoga and Pilates. The goal is no longer just to be strong. The goal is to be functionally strong, to be an athlete who can withstand the grind of an 82-game season. This wasn't a PR transformation for Instagram. This was a full-scale athletic rebuild designed for one thing: longevity. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, he's lighter. But isn't his overwhelming strength his biggest weapon? Is he sacrificing power for speed? It's a valid question, but from what we're seeing, the answer is a definitive no. He hasn't lost his strength. He's reallocated it. He still has one of the most powerful lower bodies in the entire NBA. That's his natural gift. The difference is that now he can deploy that power more efficiently and, crucially, more often. Think of it like this. Would you rather have a muscle car that can do one incredible quarter-mile drag race before overheating, or one that can maintain blistering speed lap after lap? Last season, Zion was that drag racer. He'd give you an unbelievable burst for a few minutes, a few games, and then his body would break down. Even in the 30 games he managed to play last season before that brutal hamstring injury, look at his numbers. He still put up an efficient 22.9 points, almost 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 58.6% shooting. Even a compromised Zion was one of the best paint scorers in the entire league. The issue wasn't his production, it was his stamina. Watch the tape from last year. You saw him settle for more short, mid-range jumpers. His attacks at the rim, while still effective, were less frequent per minute than in his All-Star season. He was conserving energy. Now, with this new, lighter, more durable frame, the hypothesis is that his aggression will be relentless. We're not just going to see him attack the rim 5 or 6 times a game. We could see it 10, 12, 15 times. The college-era bounce, the second and third jump effort plays for offensive rebounds. That's what this transformation unlocks. It's the best of both worlds, explosive and durable. And that's where things get really exciting for the New Orleans Pelicans. With a fully available Zion, their ceiling doesn't just get raised, it gets blown completely off. Think about the big move they made this offseason, sending veteran CJ McCollum to the Wizards. You have Trey Murphy III, who has developed into an absolutely elite, high-volume, three-point sniper, ready to feast on the attention Zion draws. And you have Herb, not on Herb, Jones, a legitimate first-team all-defense monster who locks down the other team's best player every single night. Zion isn't just a player, he's a strategic advantage. He's a force multiplier who makes everyone around him better. With him healthy, this team isn't a scrappy play-in contender anymore. They are a team that should be pushing for a top 6, maybe even a top 5 seed in the Western Conference. They have the talent. They have the depth. All they've been missing is their cornerstone. But look, this story, this redemption arc, it's about more than just body fat percentages and agility drills. The biggest change might be between his ears. For the first time, we're hearing Zion talk with a different kind of tone. It's not just confidence, it's accountability. He recently said in an interview, "I had to step back and realize that if I want to play this game at the highest level, I can't take any shortcuts. It's on me. It was always on me." That's the quote of the year for Pelicans fans. That's the mindset of a franchise player. He's finally understanding that greatness isn't just a gift. It's a choice you have to make every single day. The diet, the prehab, the film study, the leadership. He's finally acting like the franchise cornerstone he was always destined to be. This isn't the kid from Duke anymore. This is a man who seems to finally understand the legacy he has the chance to build. So, as we head into the season, here's what I'm watching for. These are the benchmarks for the Zion redemption season. First, durability. Can he play 65, maybe even 70 games? If he hits that number, it's a massive win, regardless of stats. Second, the eye test. Does he have that relentless college Zion bounce back? Is he living in the paint? Third, his shot profile. I want to see fewer settled jumpers and a return to his rightful place as the most dominant rim attacker in the sport. And finally, leadership. When things get tough, does he rally the troops? Is he the vocal and emotional heart of this team on the court? If the answer to those questions is yes, then my prediction is this: Zion Williamson will be an all-NBA player this season. I'm talking averages of 26+ points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on over 60% shooting, all while playing 65 to 70 games. And for the Pelicans, they won't be sweating the play-in. I believe they'll be a top 6 seed in the West, avoiding the play-in altogether, and potentially even fighting for home court advantage in the first round. We've seen flashes of Zion the superstar. This season, I think we're finally going to see Zion the leader. For years, the question surrounding Zion Williamson has been, can he stay on the court? It was a question born of frustration, of disappointment, of a promise that felt like it might go unfulfilled. But heading into this season with a new body and a new mindset, that question is changing. This year, the question might finally be, can anyone in the NBA stop him when he does? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I buying into the offseason hype too much? Or is this finally Zion's year? Drop your stat predictions below. But speaking of teams on the rise with a new sense of identity, let's turn our attention to the East. The New York Knicks have made some huge, systemic changes under new head coach Mike Brown, and their brand of defense first, grinded-out basketball might just surprise everyone this year too. We'll break that down in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.